Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are around this beautiful planet of ours. And today on the Gold Coast, it is absolutely gorgeous. Blue skies, not a cloud out there, sunny, warm weather. We've got some great stuff to get through in the charts today. We got that flip in action. The old flip is back, going from the bears to the bulls. And of course, this is some of the stuff that we're seeing for the first time since the October low. A couple of weeks ago now, but we're definitely seeing some good signs at this point in time for that flip. So make sure you have liked, subscribe, bell notification, click all, and I'll remind you again at the end of the video if you want to wait to see what sort of value is in here. One last quick announcement before we dive in. Remember, we have our trading seminar, our free trading seminar coming up very, very soon. So get into the top of the video description, click here. I've got a nice checklist. One, forms list here. Just drop in a few details. Make sure you're signed up under our links for Bybit and BitGet, which are just down here on the page. That's the only way you'll get it for free. And then sign up to our newsletter as well for any sort of announcement updates. All right, guys, let's crack on with this video because I've already recorded it once, but I didn't have the freaking microphone on. So this is number 2, and I know it will be quicker. All right, let's go for this. Go for gold. S&P 500 up 2 weeks now. So this is really, really good signs that we are attempting to get that flip in order. So the downtrend here from the August top to that current cycle low of October, that's a very, very significant low. Pay a huge attention to that low so far. It is the cycle low for the S&P 500. Yes, we talk about cryptos and Bitcoin and all this sort of stuff, but the macro play here, I want to invest long-term in the markets. I need to understand what's going on out there long-term and what's happening in the bigger cycle, not just this day-to-day BS of up 1%, down 7%, that sort of crap, the macro. All right, so far this is the macro low for the S&P 500. 2 weeks up, it's bounced reasonably strong here, bigger than anything on the downtrend for the last 2 months. So that's a good sign. And if you remember from the previous videos, our next target is 3,900 points. As you can see, the week closed at 3,901 with a high of 3,905. The 50% level is 3,908. These things are absolutely amazing. That is the next key level we need to get over next week as well to continue this sort of flipping. Now, it was also a support level before the market broke down, support August, September, and then broke down. There's also previous support resistance here in June. And you can see that this has been a pretty key level, around 3,900 points. So that's what we need to see next from the S&P. Maybe we get a little bit of a rejection here before we start to head higher and flip this background. You can see in the background here, it's still black, but we want to see it go green to give us that macro uptrend. So far, macro's up. Shorter term to split these up because we need to look at them simultaneously. I know a lot of people get a little bit confused and start to jump into comments saying, well, you said it was supposed to do this. 2 different time frames here, short term, long term, all right? And we need to know what's going on in the short term. But if our investing is longer term, then we need to know what's going on in the longer term cycle and not get so worried about any sort of day-to-day movements up and down. So the day-to-day movements, we could expect a rejection because we're testing previous support, 50% levels. That's going to be a short-term test, reject, and then we look for that next up leg. And that could take weeks, which is A-okay. We want it to take longer because that gives us a flip in the bullish scenario here to go from the bears to the bulls. The other nice thing here is that we have broken the downtrend this week. So this was that short-term downtrend from August top to the September top, so this yellow diagonal, and we've broken through that coming up to test the 50% level. The other data I have here, that's where I'm looking for the macro, or slightly more macro flip, at least one more big checklist item here where we would overbalance this leg. Basically, the market moving up in time and price greater than what it has previously done in any other bounce in this bear market. Because so far, this is still a bear market rally until a few of these other conditions can be met. And so that's what we are waiting for to get super excited about the flip. So I've got something around the title of, the flip is in action, and it can definitely be in action. I'm more convinced that it is because of this particular low coming in at the 50% level. Yes, things can change and I'll have to reassess if that is to break down and we get weaker stuff and nukes come out in Russia or something crazy like that. But so far, this is what we're seeing on the chart. Seems like the market is front running what is potentially going on in the US next week with some more of the FOMC meetings about interest rate rises. Maybe the interest rate rise isn't going to be as strong. Maybe it's 0.5% instead of 0.75. Maybe it's 0.75 and it's not that big of a deal anymore. But nonetheless, the smart money seems like they are front running what they believe the news announcement is going to be next week. So we've got a lot of info that has come in at that point. That's the S&P. That's the macro side of things. The NASDAQ also looking reasonably similar, but weaker overall. So similar in terms of the movements, but weaker as it's still under some major 50% levels. Did hit our level here at 10,600. We're waiting for that as that was previous support levels back in 2020. And now to the upside, around the 11,800 to 12,000 is this 50% level. NASDAQ has a lot of areas to overcome to the upside, just like any other market once you've come through a downtrend. But the main thing I want to point out here is the news will be bearish at each of these rejections. And that goes for the S&P, that goes for Bitcoin. It's the same thing over and over again. We will see short-term rejections within a macro trend, potentially. I'm looking for an uptrend. I'm not saying it has to be exactly that, but that's what I'm looking for. But if we see those rejections on the short term, the dailies or the hourlies, something like that, the news will be bearish. And that bearishness will continue to subside the longer we go in this uptrend. And basically, you start to get people searching for more bullish news than bearish news. And they'll search for the most bullish news when the market is at its peak. Now, that could be in 2024. I don't know when that's going to be, but that's essentially how the news shifts. And so with that in mind, that's potentially what we're seeing with the US dollar as well. Just this week, we had a breakdown of the weekly swing bottom. Now, that has not happened since December of 2021. So basically 10 months, the US dollar has not broken a weekly swing bottom. You can see that the trend has basically been straight up. And prior to that time, the only other time it broke the swing bottom was at the low. That was the low in early 2021. And so from that point, it's been an absolute mega bull market of nearly 2 years, call it a year and a half to, nearly 2 years to this peak that happened in September. And so that's why we've been reasonably confident that this is potentially a very significant peak, if not one of the major peaks. So what I mean by one of is that we've seen in the past with the US dollar is to form a top can take many, many weeks, if not years. So this top here in 2000, there was another slightly higher top in 2001, and then the final lower top, this is the macro view here, remember, it was in 2002. So that was basically 2 years forming a top. If that happens again, then so be it. But we haven't seen that, we won't have seen that much of an increase for the US dollar. And 118 is a very key level here for the US dollar. So far, the top's around 115. Should we get an extra higher top? Maybe we get a lower top come in, and then eventually it starts to roll over, and the rest is history from that point. So we're staying up to date with this because this is obviously affecting commodities, Bitcoin, crypto, risk on assets, and so far it's basically playing to our rule book at this point in time, looking for that short-term reversal that we saw on the daily. So that's what I have here. The hourly daily reversal was due. You guys saw that just a couple of videos ago as we came back towards 109, which was a 50% level. And it was our double top price target. So top to top, there's a double top price target. There's 200% right on the 109. It's almost worked out to the exact rule book of a play here. So that's how simply you could get into a trade using these particular rules on any market. And that's how we look for turns in the market to get those little bit of a reversal here. There's a lot of price coming together. So now with that out of the way, the next level for the USD to bounce from, because this could start coming up and you'll start to hear people say, oh, the US dollar's back on, yada, yada, yada. Should it break 112? I'm looking for 112 as a round number and form some support. That's in a much stronger position. Okay, so 112 is a level. Anything under that is basically just a test and then a probable rejection from that point. Bitcoin, over to the BTC, the big king here, has turned green on the weekly chart. So we're getting that flip in action here on the spot pairing. So the BTC spot. I'm also going to show you the futures market as well. So BTC, green, good signs here. This short-term bear market, so that was August and September top, so this first yellow diagonal has been broken this week as well. So we're getting a lot of this nice, good-looking flip action here on BTC. Now, the other piece is the 50% level. So let's have a look at that. Let's bring this to this low. That is 20,500. You know, our number is 20,700. We're going to look at that in another chart in just a sec, but basically 20,500 here, 2 days and 3 hours to go, or basically 2 hours now. We need to see that close above that level, and then that puts us into an extra strong position to go back and test these higher prices of 22.8, which is that previous peak. So we need to see all these little pieces start coming together so that the bulls, you know, the traders and investors can see those stronger signs and say, let's charge towards that next target and test the supply. Will more supply come in at the next key level, or will it be more demand? If there's more supply, it's bearish. People flooding the market with supply, pushing the price down. And then they have to go back and test to see where does the demand come back into the market. And that's all that is going on here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Where's the supply coming in? Where is the demand coming in? And it looks like we've flipped to that side of let's go on that mission now and test the upside supply. Where does the next extreme supply come in that overrules demand? And that's all we're looking for here. First good signs of that are happening. Let's move towards that $23,000-ish level. Now going to the short term for BTC, 20,500, that's what we just looked at. Remember, my level of 20,700 has been hit once, twice, 3 times this week, and we just saw it reject. But at least today, we've got 2 hours to go today, is starting to push that little bit higher here and get that higher close. So a nice little close above 20,500 today is going to be a good sign to go back and test that next 20,700. And so I've had 20,700 here for many, many, many reasons. You can see support, a lot of support came into the market before it broke down. That was basically the key ones here. And we had a couple little resistance levels as well. The other resistance was around 20,500. So I do like those two levels, but 20,700 has been a key level. Breaking above that, like I said, we go on that next mission to test the supply for probably 21,400 and then go and test the supply at about 22.5 to 22.8. All right. So that's basically what that mission is on now. And it looks like we have flipped to that bullish side to go on that supply mission. We got the demand, the bulls are together. Let's go to the upside and test where those bears are. Who is starting to flood the market at that price? We did see it slightly happen at 20,700, 20,800. You can very, very clear there. 26th rejected, 27th rejected, and it went down. And then the 28th, which is today, tested again intraday, went down, and it's come back up. So it looks like the bulls are supporting the price at around 20,000. Beautiful psychological number. And they're ready to go on that next mission to the upside, which probably won't happen till next week because, of course, it's the weekend and not much happens on the weekend like we can see on the futures market, which is now closed. And it closed above 20,700. So that's a great sign for BTC opening up on Monday, where we would look for any sort of action that happens over the weekend, where it's a little bit lower. We might see that jump up to around where the market closed here at 20,700. Let's wait and see what happens over the next 2 days over the weekend. But so far, that's a good sign here. October is still that major low for the Bitcoin futures market, and we are looking to go back and test the bear market downtrend on the logarithmic scale because we've already broken out of it on the linear here. So the swings are up for the weekly trend here on BTC. For the futures market, it is still attempting to get a weekly uptrend. We have an uncertain trend at the moment. We have higher highs and lower lows. So what we need to do is put in a higher low and then break up again. That's what we're waiting to see. And for Bitcoin, yes, I would say that we're looking like we're on that mission to test the upper side. All right, as for ETH, and what I'll do is get into cryptocurrencies next week on the channel. So make sure you are subscribed, bell notification, hit the all that sort of jazz down below. I know it's annoying, but it does help the channel a lot. And you get to see more of this and less of other potentially noise stuff out there, not mentioning any names. But essentially the cryptocurrency thing is going to be pretty important because I can see a low coming in for many other cryptos, in particular, say ETH, which I know some people call an altcoin, others don't call it an altcoin. I'm on the fence. I'm thinking it's not an altcoin. I've talked about that a lot, saying it's not really an altcoin anymore. It's basically been proven itself through 2 cycles now. But just going back to the cryptos, there's going to be a lot of people that get absolutely screwed during this bear market because they have the hopes and the dreams that their coins are going to go up in the next cycle, and they're not going to notice the small signals here on charts. Only the charts are going to tell you, not the fundamentals, when it comes to the price of their coin. Now that there is data, if you have a higher low, that's going to be a better sign for the coin that you're holding. If your coin is getting lower lows and lower lows, while the rest of the market, like the king here, is making higher lows, the S&P is making higher lows, potentially the Nasdaq's making higher lows, and you're holding some shit coin that's making lower lows, that is a very, very weak coin to be in. It's not saying it can't come back from it and have big pumps and dumps, but if you want to reduce your risk in the market, then you probably want to get out of weak stuff that keeps making lower lows. And I saw that with some friends in 2021. They kept holding onto these shit coins through the bull market, some stuff that they had from 2017, and they missed out on a bull market because they just could not get rid of this crap that held up their portfolios. So it's a massive psychological game coming up for people who have been through the market in 2021 and they just want to make it back to break even, or just not take such a big loss, or hope have the biggest hopes for it because of their fundamentals, blah blah blah. It's going to be a big one, and that's what we're going to continue to cover. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. As for ETH, this low is holding up relatively well. We're getting very close to the bear market downtrend here. This is the closest that we've been to the bear market downtrend since it was noted on the chart at that monthly swing top of March. So you can see now we're just a few points away from that right now. It's the closest that we've been. We've got a nice higher low forming here, and getting close to those other reversal Wyckoff flip targets that I have at around 1,850 points. So far, so good. ETH is looking relatively strong. Hopefully we get that close above $1,500 at the end of this week. As for the daily chart, so going down to the lower term timeframes, this is looking like a nice setup above the 50% level. Look at this move to the upside, a nice explosive move. And then hopefully this is the old break through the resistance, come back and test it as support. So the support resistance flip before it goes on to hopefully test that $1,700 to $1,800 level, take out these other tops, and then of course, put in this accumulation range, continue on with this accumulation range. Don't forget to check out the links in the top of the video description for our free trading seminar coming up very, very soon. You'll need to be signed up with Bybit or BitGet. Anyone from around the world can use this, US, wherever you are. Use those links down below here for your free bonuses as well. And of course, sign up to the newsletter as well. Anyone can sign up to the newsletter if you want to stay up to date with us here on our alpha reports that come out once every 2 weeks. Bitcoin, crypto, real estate, the works. We invest full-time here, and that's what we put out to all of our members and subscribers. I hope you do become a subscriber if you haven't already. Subscribe, like, all down below. And until next time, have a fantastic weekend. Peace out.